And we are then going to have Dr. Prerna from Venture Center who will speak about Venture Center, and then we will immediately move on to the Q&A session with Beerud. I'm sure you're eagerly waiting for that. How many of you know about SLP? Okay, about 50% of the audience. So Startup Leadership Program started off in 2007 as an offshoot of Thai Boston, and since then it's spread to about 24 cities. It runs simultaneously from September to March in about 24 cities across the globe. Pune chapter is amongst the newest chapters. We've been around for the last 3 years. The third batch will graduate in the month of March. Just a quick introduction. What we do is we have startup entrepreneurs who enroll into the program. They get groomed by their peers, by mentors, by experts, by entrepreneurs, by investors who come to our sessions and speak to them about their experiences, about their expertise, and help them become high impact CEOs. We have about 1,800 fellows across the globe. We have, this is last year's slides, we have today we have about 1,800 fellows across the globe who have raised millions of dollars of funding. What we typically do is, you'll see a lot of familiar names, but well, I'm not going to tell you all of this. I'm just going to tell you why SLP. How many of you are entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs? Wow, that's a lot. Wannabe?
Everybody.
And people are sitting on the fence, not really sure. No fence at all. Okay, great. So what happens is, when as an entrepreneur, right, you're very excited, you're very passionate about your product, your idea, that next big thing that you're going to do. But not all of us are experts in everything, and when you're an entrepreneur, you have to wear multiple hats, you have to know about many different things. And that's what SLP does. We have a standard curriculum which will tell you about how to develop your products, rather, how to arrive at your value proposition, how to develop your product, how to go on about developing your customers in the market. If you're ever going to raise funding, what's the jargon that's used by all the investors and the lawyers out there? How do you negotiate with them? What's a term sheet? How do you come up with valuation? The other thing that always happens is, how do you find a co-founder? In case you are very lucky and you actually find a co-founder, and then there's conflict, how do you deal with it? How do you develop a team? So SLP is a 6-month session. We have classes 2 Saturdays every month for a period of 6 months, from September to March, when you graduate. We have the local ecosystem partners and mentors and investors who come and speak to all our fellows. We believe that you not only learn from people who've been there, done that, you also learn a lot from peers. So we have a class of about 20 to 25 handpicked entrepreneurs. We open applications in the month of June and July, and the applicants undergo evaluation, they're interviewed, and then we handpick about 25. How do we do that? We do not judge your startups. Okay, we don't really look at your idea or your startup at all. We look at you. We believe that fantastic people do fantastic things. And when I say fantastic, I don't mean your pedigree, and I don't mean your academic performance. We look at your attitude, we look at your leadership skills, we look at how you can contribute to the other 24 people in the class, okay, and then you're selected. Once you're enrolled into the SLP program and you attend about 13 sessions from 15, if you don't attend more than 2 sessions, we do not let you graduate. You have to be there in the class for everyone. And once you graduate, then you are a fellow for lifetime. This is an exclusive club. You can, if any of you want to know who's working in some particular person working in the healthcare sector in some city in France, all you have to do is send an email out on the global mailing list, and you will have 10 hands raised and say, hey, I'll connect you to them, or I am one of them. Right? So it's a very exclusive, cohesive group. We have generally very diverse. When you pick entrepreneurs to form part of the class, we ensure that there's a lot of diversity. For example, in the current class, we have people working on agriculture products, we have people working on IT products, we have healthcare devices, we have media, entertainment. We have people from all sorts of industry sectors work so that they bring in their own perspective. Yeah, it's a global program. Any of you traveling across the globe are welcome to go and attend sessions outside. Last year we had our fellows attend sessions in Boston, in Silicon Valley, in Hyderabad, Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi. Okay. So you're traveling on a Saturday, you're more than welcome to go and attend any of the classes happening across the globe. The beauty of this is, since we follow a standard curriculum and we follow a standard timeline, you can attend anywhere and you'll still not miss out on the learning. In Pune, yes, Fox Mandal is rather in India. Fox Mandal, which is a legal firm, sponsors our sessions. Venture Center is a co-sponsor. They host us, so all our classes happen at Venture Center. Like I said, the curriculum runs from strategy, product development, customer development, co-founder, dealing with VCs, pitches. How do you pitch to an investor? All sorts of things that you will need to know as a CEO of a company. This is not an MBA program, by the way, and the onus of learning is not on the experts or the mentors. The onus of learning is on you. So we believe in having hands-on, people working hands-on. You have to get your own experiences, talk about them in the class, and people will come up with solutions and advice for you. What do we do at SLP? That's the first SLP. That's the first SLP batch. That's the second SLP batch. The third SLP batch is right now here graduating. We have a lot of fun. We not only attend classes, we go out, we eat, we drink a lot, we do too much, but we have weekend outings. In fact, we had a camping trip today, but it got rained out. So we attend events happening all over Pune. You'll see a lot of guys wearing SLP t-shirts in a lot of Thai events, POCC events. Yeah. This is a slide which I should have changed. Now this is for last year. But typically, all our applications begin in the month of June, open in the month of June, July. Evaluations and shortlisting happens in August, and the classes begin in September, last until March. Attendance extremely necessary. Punctuality. If people don't turn up in class by 9 o'clock every day, they have to pay a late fee of 500 rupees. So, and then we blow it all up on a graduation party. We have a graduation party where people who drink blow up the money in drinks. The people who don't drink enjoy what's the other something. Right? So these are our contact details. If you don't remember all of this, just remember pune@startupleadership.com. The website is www.startupleadership.com, and all of us here are wearing black SLP t-shirts. Okay, you can just, anyone who wants to know more about us can just approach any of us and get more information. And so that's it from me. If you have any questions, we can talk after the session, or you can talk to any of us hanging around. I'll hand over the mic to Prerna, who's the director, founding director at Venture Center, and he'll tell you a little bit about Venture Center. Let's go and turn this off.
Thank you and welcome everybody. Nice to see this group out here. Well, I don't know how many of you have come here before, but I see a lot of familiar faces, but I also see a lot of new faces. So, how many people are coming here for the first time? Okay. So I think what I'll say a little bit about Venture Center as well, so that you know what this place is about. You're here on the NCL campus, and this session might seem a little out of place, perhaps for some of you, but we'll tell you a little bit more first. NCL has, of course, is a research organization, as many of you know, and we've been working on technology development for a very long time, and there's a long history of technology development and a lot of contributions to several industries in India. And of course, one of the reasons Indian pharma is the cheapest in the world is also got to do with the hard work put in the 60s, 70s by a lot of the national labs. But that said, there's a lot to do. There's a lot that needs to be done in technology development, and we are hardly scraping the top of the surface. So we needed new models, and NCL started looking at some of these new models more carefully. But at the same time, so one of them, of course, is entrepreneurship and being able to take some of these ideas through the startup route to market. That's, of course, NCL's own selfish interest. But while we were doing all that, we realized that we should build an incubator which basically is open to everybody. Okay, so this is a technology business incubator, which is an open facility set up as a not-for-profit independent company at an arm's length to NCL. There's a good reason why it's at an arm's length to NCL. We're trying to build a culture which is different from a typical government and academic organization. And that is, of course, part of the DNA now of this organization. We focus on science-based enterprises which have certain degree of knowledge intensity. That is where we emphasize, that's where we think we have a greater role to play. Many IT kind of startups are not what we typically work with or invest a lot of efforts in, but that's more because there is a lot of the ecosystem exists already in large measure to support some of that. On the other hand, if you take a typical biotech, biomed, material science kind of startup, there's hardly anything in the country, okay, and it's really hard to get started. And of course, there are greater challenges in many other ways as well. The investments involved are much higher, the time scales involved are much longer, and so on and so forth. And the ecosystem that you need to set up such enterprises has to be a lot more diverse and rich to do some of those things. And of course, that's probably the reason why a lot of IT startups flourish in India, because ecosystem is still within control. You don't necessarily venture into risks, take risks which are absolutely out of the common ecosystem. Their uncertainties are within limits, right? So we are trying to do that. So here in this place, we are building this incubator. Basically has a lot of different components of an ecosystem stitched together. It is an inorganic effort in the sense that we are not as fortunate as the Bostons or the Silicon Valleys or the Cambridges in UK and so on, where the ecosystem has fallen into place automatically. So we are trying to build it in a way artificially, right? So we have infrastructure here, we have scientific facilities which startups use. We have a lot of events which run here. We have a lot of different partners like SLP, for example, which enrich our ecosystem. We have funding programs. We are, by the way, one of the BIG partners for BIRAC. BIRAC is an arm of the Department of Biotechnology, and we are one of the 5 partners in the country. And in fact, as you might notice, we have a lot of biotech, biomed startups which are associated with us. Besides that, we run 2 seed funds out here. Those seed funds are, one is through the Technology Development Board, and another is through the National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board. And these are things which are again directed towards those kind of companies which have a lot more knowledge intensity. Novelty is typically an important criteria in such kind of enterprises. Okay, we have an IP facilitation center out here. We are one of the BIRAC bio incubators in the country, which also is home to some highly specialized facilities. And there's a small and interesting library right behind you. So if you have time, you can spend some time over there. It is focused. It is primarily for technology entrepreneurs and managers of innovation. It is unique in its own way, and something which is a public library. It's open to everybody. Okay, so you're welcome to. There's a small membership fee, but you are welcome to go and browse and see if it's worth your while. Okay, so that's a little bit about Venture Center as the facility. We today are home to about 19 odd startups, and about more than half of them are in the biotech, biomed space today. And that's largely because there is a sudden surge in the last few years in the number of people looking at biotech, biomed enterprises. and also in the funding opportunities which are opening up in that space, especially a lot of different diverse funding options, not only commercial investors but also a lot of patient capital in areas like food security, nutrition, healthcare, affordable healthcare, and so on and so forth. And also considerable interest globally in the absence of pipelines with large pharma, like large pharma is suffering from a shortage of ideas, and everybody is building startups which can probably cater to that gap, meet that gap at some point. Okay, so that is something that some of the activity happening here. Today, of course, we're very happy to have Beerud here. This is the first time I've had a chance to bring him here. I've known Beerud for a very long time. He will talk about, of course, all his activities and what he has achieved, and I think it's fantastic. But I want to just say a few things, okay, from my own personal perspective. We go back a long way. He was 1 year my senior at IIT Bombay. I was in the chemical engineering department, and he was in the computer science department. Of course, all the greats were in the computer science department. He passed out with flying colors. He was the silver medalist. He was the topper of his class in that year. And I knew him closely also for one more reason. I had a wingmate who was his close friend and also competitor, and they were neck to neck in many things. And both of them were, one of the guys who had all the time to kill while others were slogging it out. So that was my impression of Beerud and my friend wingmate, who seemed to fly through easily with academics. So we used to suspect they studied late in the night when we were all sleeping. But both of them were, people who could just fly through things without effortlessly. After that he went to MIT. There too, I happened to be doing a PhD in chemical engineering, and he was in comm science. And we didn't interact as much at that time, and of course our interests were a little diverse, but I did hear a lot about him from other sources. And then I was just asking him, we sort of lost touch a little bit, but he went on to Wall Street and then founded Elance, which of course again I heard about a lot after several years. There's one more interesting connection, which is that both of us play hockey, field hockey. Okay, and I was actually the hockey secretary for a year, organizing all the hockey events, and it also turned out to be the year when our coach was not around. So it turned out that I had to be more of an organizer for all those things. I learned a lot. Perhaps that's also taught me things which I can use here to build some of these activities here. But it also brought me in close connect with all the other hockey players, because sometimes I had to be the boss. Sometimes I had to wield the stick, literally, and sometimes I had to chase them around, get them to run around hills to do their workouts as usual. And believe me, you may not believe it, but IIT Bombay takes at least hockey seriously. We used to even play in the Pune League. Okay, so and we had very good players, including some state level players. It's not that it was bad at all, although you would think that they would be full of geeks. That was also happening because there are a lot of players who were learning for the first time and playing. So we have fond memories. Recently we met in Bombay in an alumni meet to play, and that was a chance when both Sujata and I grabbed him and said that can you come to Pune and let's have an event. Yeah? So I'm very happy to be here. I don't want to tell about all his achievements, because I think we'll hear more about it as the event goes, and we'll learn more about it from him itself. But it's a pleasure to have you here, and welcome. Okay, and I hope you'll also enjoy seeing what we do here, because I think it's pretty close to your heart, being an entrepreneur as well, right?